Welcome into our post-game coverage of the USC Florida game from here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council. Well, it was homecoming day coming in for the Gamecocks, but it became a heartbreak day as the Florida Gators leave Columbia with a thrilling 41-39 win. A Gator team that doesn't normally win away from home under Billy Napier pulled one out today, but if you're the Gamecocks, you kind of feel like you let one get away because you had a 10-point lead with under 10 minutes to go playing at home. You kind of feel like you're going to saw it away and come away with a big victory to start the second half of your season. But the Gamecock defense could not come up with a big stop. And at the end of the game, the Gamecock offense could not muster a first down and keep possession of the football to keep it away from the Gators. So the Gamecocks fall to 2-4, 1-3 in the SEC. Gators improved to 5-2 and 3-1 in the SEC. Yep, you look at this. If you're a Gamecock, you'll just say one play away from winning this one, and they just could not come up with that play. Gamecocks were leading 37-27 with 9:11 to play. Florida scored a touchdown, so the Gamecocks are now leading 37-24 with 4:36 to go. They've got the football. They're facing a 3rd and 10 at their own 47. A short pass to Knox is for no gain, so the Gamecocks have to punt. Kai Kroger, normally reliable, does not get off a great punt. Goes out of bounds at the Florida 25, so the Gators have it 75 yards away. They have timeouts, and they have time on their side. And they put together a heck of a drive, but they did make some great plays on offense when the Gamecocks could not make plays on defense. The Gators faced a 4th and 10 situation, and Graham Mertz, their fine quarterback, connected with his fine receiver, Ricky Pearsall, for 26 yards to keep the drive alive. The Gamecocks were coming at Mertz, but they couldn't get to him. He stood in there, and he made the big pass. Then a 22-yard completion as the ball deflected off of one Gator to another, and that led to a 21-yard touchdown pass with 47 seconds to play. Gators now have the lead, but the Gamecocks have 3 timeouts. There's really no reason to panic. 47 seconds, 3 timeouts, Spencer Rattler, an array of receivers. They could still pull this thing out. Gamecocks actually moved the ball on the possession. They had a dump-off pass to Joyner for 11 yards that kind of moved them up the field a little bit to their own 36-yard line. They still had 20 seconds to go. But Rattler, for one of the few times this season, kind of lost his composure. And on a play where he should have just eaten the football or thrown it away, he threw a deep ball down the field. Didn't really have a chance to be completed. It was intercepted, and that killed it for the Gamecocks and took away from an otherwise fabulous performance by Rattler. So a tough loss for South Carolina. The Gamecocks changed up some things on their offensive line during their bye week, and it worked. They moved some guys around. They were able to open up some running lanes and get the running game going some. They rushed for about 150 yards. Mario Anderson had 98. So to complement what Rattler was doing, the offense was outstanding. I mean, you score 37 points, you expect to win the football game. They scored 37 points when they beat Mississippi State here back in September. But you're not going to win when you give up all the yards through the air and all the points that they gave up to the Gators today. The Gators passed for 423 yards. They had 494 total yards to the Gamecocks 465. Rattler threw for 313. 3rd down, 4th down, a big problem for the Gamecock defense. The Gators combined on those two situations, 7 of 19, including 3 of 4 on 4th down. And as I mentioned, the big 4th down on the game-winning series. Those conversions, those 7 conversions allowed the Gators to run 81 plays to the Gamecock 63. It was a big play game. Both teams had numerous big plays, 13 for the Gamecocks, 17 for the Gators. Florida averaged over 14 yards of completion, and the Gamecocks averaged 13.6. Gamecocks did turn it over twice. The Gators did not turn it over. Gamecocks had 4 sacks, and they had 8 tackles for loss. And Knox really emerged as a receiving threat. He has been coming on. That will help the Gamecocks. 8 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Leggett had 5 catches for 110. 9 different receivers caught passes for the Gamecocks, but Mertz was incredible for Florida, 30 of 48 for 423 yards and the 3 touchdowns. And Pearsall caught 10 of those passes, 166 yards and 1 touchdown. So some great numbers for both offenses, not good numbers for both defenses. But Florida came up with the play at the end when South Carolina could not, and that turns out to be the difference in the game. Now, Shane Beamer and his staff really face perhaps their biggest coaching week of the season because, and maybe of his 3 years here at South Carolina, because it's not so much now about the X's and the O's getting ready for Missouri, but it's about those Jimmies and those Joes in the locker room and getting inside their heads and making sure that they don't cash in the season. Beamer doesn't think that will be the case. Rattler doesn't think that will be the case. But a loss like this takes a lot of steam out of you. You put 2 weeks into preparation. You put a great effort on the field. You do not get the victory. It'll take some time for them to get this out of their system, no question about it. And they have now got to go on the road to Missouri and to Texas A&M. So the Gamecocks are in a very dangerous part of their season if they're going to avoid letting this season get away and not have a 500 or better season at the end of November. So tough win here today for the Gamecocks in front of over 79,000. They fall to Florida 41-39. Sunday night, we'll have coverage of the Shane Beamer press conference, the conference call. You can catch that on our website, sportstalksc.com, and also on Twitter at SportsTalkSC. And, of course, Monday night, we'll talk all about it with you on Sports Talk from 6 to 8 and get your thoughts on what happened here today at Williams-Brice. Thanks for checking us out. Our post-game report brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council.